Hey guys, today I have my Typhon 6S speedrun build out. It's a stretch Typhon, have Mama Monster 8S, and a TP Power 4070 can size. Today I need to swap out the stock Servo for just a basic upgrade that's a little bit more trustworthy, Eco Power 110. We're also going to put on hot racing aluminum servo mounts and arms just to prevent any form of wobble, because going over 130 miles an hour, definitely don't want any of that. Also going to do a little bit of fine tuning. We don't want all this slop in here, so I got some washers to put down there. Also have to mount the battery tray and put some Velcro straps on. And then we have to move this down one set of holes. They're right there. We need to move them down there, because right now the body I have for it is sitting way too high in the rear. Alright, to start, let's get the servo out. Goodbye, stock Arma Servo. By the way, this is the old version of the Typhon. That's why it has the Arma Servo on it. Now we gotta get this hot racing one set up. And do this. Alright, so we got the servo plate mounted. Now time to put the post on. Alright, got those pieces mounted. Now it's time to actually put it onto the car and then get it wired up. Just something to keep in mind, when you mount your servo, make sure you mount it the right way. You don't want to mount it and then have to go out and redo it again. For mine specifically, I have the Creighton and Talion chassis on a Typhon, so stretched. So my servo mount has to have the wires going forward, and it's going to sit right there. Get you zoomed in. Mine's going to sit right there. The wire's going to run that way. And then, just to get a better view of what it's going to look like. It's going to look like that. And then, obviously, mounted. Alright. Get you guys back in 1 second. And one side note, the way I'm going to do mine is I'm going to take my wires and I'm going to put them right in between the posts and my servo, just to make sure that these wires aren't moving around too much. And then we'll wire under the ESC mount and through underneath everything over here over to my receiver. And because I'm using an external gyro, it needs to plug right into the side of it. And I don't remember which way it went, so I normally use a DX5C, but I left it at my friend's house, so We're going to bind it up to this DX3 real quick, just for testing purposes. Make sure all of your stuff is centered before you bind, by the way. I know most of you probably know that, but... Alright. It's making noise. Not sure why. It's holding. If you look, it's barely moving even with full travel. So, if I can see this. Might be something related to the gyro. Not 100% sure though, so let's just... Alright, that works. It was working at one point in time, so let's try the old servo again and see what happens. I got that right here. That might be it. Okay. That noise is gone now. Let's see. Perfect. Alright. You guys can see it turning now. Let's turn this back up. That was the gyro being already engaged. I had already had it turned up to when I was running this car with a different motor. Or a different setup entirely, actually. So... I can see it moving. By the way, guys, this isn't some stupid high-speed servo or stupid high torque or anything like that. It's just a basic servo that's a lot more reliable than this original one. That's the whole reason I'm putting it in there, is for reliability. For me, at least, I don't see any reason to have anything stupid powerful or stupid fast. Just because when you're doing speed runs, it's one straight line. You don't really need to have all the torque in the world or all the power in the world. You just need enough to be able to turn your wheels, and it's stronger than your servo saver. It just needs to be fast enough for you to be able to not like have some massive delay, and that's exactly what the servo is. Now that we got that situated, turns and everything, and this is centered, we are going to get this piece mounted onto it with the wheels straight, and I like to do that with the wheels on, actually. So let's get the battery tray mounted, and then we'll put the wheels on it and get that all set up. Alright guys, so I'm going to go put the Velcro on the battery tray. By the way, this is the stock battery tray. To make it fit, I just drilled a new set of holes exactly 1 inch further down, I think it was. So if you look on it, you can see that there is an extra set of holes. Originally, it was just those 4 and these 4. I had to drill a whole new set in order to make it fit, because if you look right here, put a cat pack there. I kind of needed the cat pack since I'm running a Mamba Monster. Since I'm running a MM8, kind of needed the cat pack, and also I had a bunch of space over here that wasn't being used. So I just shifted everything down one, and it allowed for some extra space, as well as I can put my GNSS right there. Just put it vertically, double-sided servo tape it. I'm going to try to get some 3M. I did see a piece. I have a piece right here. Let's go ahead and plop that down while we have this battery tray off, and I can get in here really easily. Just stick it right there. The piece of Velcro I was going to use, too wide. I'm not going to cut it. Not going to worry about it. I'll just put one piece on there, so it's not going to have a side one. It's just going to have a wanted to go long ways. And I don't even have to put this on right now, so let's get the battery tray mounted first. We're just dying. Well, that's the last of that drill for now. I'll have to recharge it later. Alright, battery tray is mounted. Luckily I had a spare piece. I had run out, and I had just random little pieces, and I noticed earlier that I had random little pieces, so that's why I was able to put one on there. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about these wires yet. Actually, is this tube hollow? It is hollow all the way down. I'm going to pull the battery tray back off real quick and see if I can get this to run under the battery tray and up through here. That way it can get up in the air a little bit and I don't have it sticking out anywhere funky. By the way, there's just not a realistic place to put the original receiver box. I had to take it off of here, and then like a limitless receiver box is entirely too big. One of the small receiver boxes, I could try to fit in here, but I'm not going to be running this in water, so it's not necessary to have it. The only main advantage to it would be keeping these wires nice and tidy, but you know, you use enough zip ties and duct tape and electrical tape, you can make you can make them go away. But let me get this battery tray off real quick, and I'm going to see if I can wire this under there. Alright guys, time to get the wheels mounted, and then we can get the servo set up. We might do something about this. Then we'll get the rear body mount posts dropped down a little bit. I do have them as low as they can go right now, and it's just entirely too high. It sits like a whole inch above the wheel. And then we'll get the Velcro in there and make sure that the battery sits in there nice. And I believe that's it for today. Oh, no, we got to do spacers. Because it's the middle of winter, I don't do much speed running, just because the road is so cold, and snow, rain, ice, I mean, look outside real quick, just snow. Alright, got some new wheel nuts. The GRPs I'm running, these are used. These have been on this car for since I converted to a speedrun car. While I was waiting for this motor, I plopped in the ESC gyro receiver cat pack, and when I was running it, I was running it with no body, stock motor on a 6S Gen Ace bashing battery, and I think I had around 104 miles an hour with the stock motor, which is this guy right here. So you had extension wires with 6.5mm bolt adapters to go into that ESC, and it's the BLX motor. It's not the new Spectrum one. Same KV, 2050. What was I just doing? Tires. So these are used. These have been ran probably a dozen times. But because they were only 100-mile-an-hour runs, not even, most of the runs were about 98 miles an hour. That 104 was after I finally got to the right road. This is back when I was still trying to figure out, I've had this car for a while waiting to run it. That's when I was still trying to figure out which road to run on. The road I was running on at that time was maybe 1,000 feet at best, so I couldn't get like a really good wind up, but because I was only going, 100 miles an hour, I didn't need too much road because... Alright, so I almost forgot. I'm going to go ahead and do this now while the tires are off. Essentially what I'll be doing is just eliminating some of this plate right here. Alright, so I got the nut off. It looks like there's one plastic washer right there and two over here. I'm gonna try to put one in there to see if it helps. Because it's the rear, I'm not too worried about its ability to, move with the road, because there's going to be a lot of pressure back there anyways, so it's going to stiffen it up a ton. Alright, so we're just going to let all these washers drop, and we're going to put some new ones in. I'm going to reuse those, but we're going to put some more in there. Probably one more. I don't think I'm going to be able to fit much more than one more in there. Let me see if I can get this at a better angle. Alright, I think I got it at a better angle now, guys. I'm not actually going to put a washer on both sides. Well, I might. Let's do this. We're going to put one thin one on the front, and then all of the rest of them are going to go on the back. The reason is because of the way the body fits. I have a long wheelbase Corvette body, C7 specifically. So when I went to go put it on there, I noticed that I would have to trim it a little bit. So if I move these forward, it's a good, maybe less than a quarter inch, almost a quarter inch right here. But it should help a little bit, considering it was just a tiny bit off, and I would have had to trim the body either way. But this should help by moving this forward some. Let's get these plastic pieces back. There's one more right here. Looks like the washers I have might be the tiniest bit thinner, so we'll go ahead and put those on the front and all the plastic ones on the rear. It almost looks like it doesn't actually need one. Like, I feel like if I put one in there, it might be a little tight. I'll try. I don't think. What kind of black magic is this? You move them all to one side and suddenly it fits. There we go. Just the way it be sometimes, but got it in there. Now I just gotta wrestle it into place. There we go. Maybe not. Give me 1 second. Alright guys, so that was a mistake on my part. I didn't even think to check the shaft width. Luckily it didn't take me too long to figure it out. I mean, maybe 30 seconds of trying and then realizing, oh shoot, I didn't check the shaft size. It was actually a 4mm, not a 3mm. This piece over here, that's a 3mm. 3mm will fit over that. The 3mm will not fit over the actual piece that holds all of this in here. Just fits over the threaded portion. Now, let's get this mounted back up. There's plenty of free movement, but there's no longer any extra wobble going on in there. Side note, if you stumbled upon this video trying to build your own stretch Typhon, this isn't a how-to guide, it's just me building mine, and then we're going to go run it in the next couple of weeks, hopefully. When you do this, if you use GRPs specifically, they rub. You can see right here where I have actually cut and sanded down the plastic hub carrier, whatever these are called, because it would rub the inside of the tire right here if you don't, and it's just got a lot of resistance. So if you do this and you want to leave some parts stock, this is an easy enough thing to do. Just literally just take an X-Acto knife, Dremel, sandpaper, whatever, just cut it down a little bit so it's not rubbing your tires, if you use GRP specifically. I use GRPs for pretty much all of my on-road applications, with the exception of my felony, which is just a street basher, so I leave the hoons on there for drifting and whatnot. But let me get the other side done, and we'll resume this video in 1 second. Alright guys, so I got the washers put in right here, on the other side as well, and no movement, which is what we want, but yet the shocks still move. The rear still moves pretty freely. Next thing to do is to now finally get the tires set up. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done right now. Alright, so I have the tires mounted up. Now I need to get the servo mounted. I'm going to attach I'm going to go ahead and attach the linkage piece to right there, and then we'll get the tires set up. So let me do that real quick. Alright. I got it almost mounted. Just need to tighten it up. Should be pretty tight. A little bit of wiggle. Yep. A little bit of wiggle. Stay. Alright. Now, I know there's a lot of different ways of doing this. Some people will put their tires on the side like this and mount it up that way. Some people go purely off of making sure this is 90 degrees. I don't do it really either way, just because if your arms, or if this is tightened just a tiny bit less or whatever, which I have done here, I have tightened this a little bit less just to make sure that my wheels are nice and sitting pretty much perfectly straight up. So any form of tiny little adjustment, when you put them on the side like that, it could actually be more like that, just like in an aggressive scenario or extreme scenario. But so the way that I do it is just make sure my wheels are relatively straight based off of my eyes, and then I'll just mount it up right here. Let me get power to the servo real quick to make sure it's nice and centered. I'll use the bashing battery just for this. And we'll make sure that this is all centered. Centered, that's centered. Steering, throttle normal. You want both of these all the way up. Alright, servo is centered. The wheels appear to be relatively straight, and you can always adjust later, it doesn't matter too much. Guess it'd be helpful if that was tight. And not upside down. Alright, now I got it mounted the right way. So it'll actually sit on the servo. Make sure that the car's on. Tires are already, front is already straight. Now we just gotta push. Right. It's nice and tight. And we're also going to go in from the sides right here. Just make sure these pieces are tightened up as much as they can be. When I do it, at first when I do it, I leave it not loose, but not all the way tightened. Just to make sure you tighten them evenly, that's why I do that, the way I do it. Alright. Does look like I got it slightly to the left. That looks about straight, so not too much adjustment needed. You're never going to get perfect, just because there's a 25-inch spline there. So when you straighten your wheels, even if your servo is centered, you're never going to be able to just slide it. You almost never can slide it on it perfectly. You always have to kind of offset it just a tiny bit one direction or the other, and then correct it later with the remote settings. It's just how it is. I've never been able to get it perfectly centered, just because when you try to get it perfectly centered, you'll get right in between the teeth, so you can't actually put the servo mount on. Next thing to do, get that Velcro on there, so this doesn't go anywhere. And after that, the only thing left is to drop this down. And then I'll get the under the Corvette body on there, just so y'all can get a look at what they'll semi-look like on the car. That could be bad. Nope. There we go. So like that. Alright. Let me get the SMC because that's bigger. Ooh, how's that gonna work? By the way, I've never run the SMC in this car before, so this might be interesting. I can't put it that way. I'm just going to Dremel this piece off right here to see if we can get these wires nice and, or to see if you can get these wires comfortable so they're not being pinched in any direction. Here we go. All right. That's right. We're going to cut right along here and then right along there. That way we can get these wires out and comfortable. It looks like it might be easier to go ahead and remove the screws on this battery tray just so I don't have to do some odd angle cutting. Well, that's lovely. I didn't cut anywhere near enough off. Actually, you know what? Let me try something. Alright, so I was going to try something else, and then I decided not to. I'm just going to put a new blade on there. And rather than cutting it this way, we're going to cut it along that way, just so I don't have to cut through, you know, a whole ½ inch of plastic. Alright, let's get this all untwisted. I probably could have just taken this piece off now. If I'm correct, this should allow for the battery to sit in there without any issues, and I am correct, at least for this scenario. So now there's nothing in the way of blocking these wires, and sitting as far forward as I can go, I still have enough to grab onto the ESC, so I don't have to extend these wires at all. Let's get this battery out and get this cleaned up. I can switch blades, but I'm probably not going to. Let's see how well this works. Alright, appears to be fine. Not perfect or anything, just so it doesn't have any weird grain edges on it. Get this cleaned up a little bit, not cleaned, but wiped off. And we'll rerun this wire. The receiver wires, specifically. Make sure that's not obstructed by anything. And then, oh wait, alright. There we go. That has the ability to move. Alright. There's that piece. No longer needed. Bye-bye. Servo's mounted up. Battery tray is fixed. Remounted. Wires are in. I think the only thing left to do was this, but I'll just do that real quick off camera, and then I'll show you guys the Corvette, the C7 Corvette body that I have for it. Alright guys, so I got this rear piece, the body mount lowered. There's just a set of screws right here. I didn't have to drill anything. I just put it down one set of screws lower. For the body, I don't have the wing mounted on it yet, but should sit a little bit better, which is the important thing. Now that I have the back lowered a little. I believe that is it. In the next video, I believe we're going to do a little bit more. I think we're going to get this mounted, we're going to get these holes the right size, and we're going to try to get the body situated right. And then the video after that, I should be going out and running it. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Have a good day.